So, in about 5 minutes, and a few days. So, where last I left off, we had just gone through the area and slain Nidhogg, claiming his eye from him, and thus leading to his death. Through the course of this, entire journey, we have learned many things about Ishgard's founding, and its history. We learned that long, long ago, the Elezen lived in peace with the dragons during a prosperous period that lasted around about 200 years, and this period ended when the then king of the young Ishgard and his knights slew one of the great worms in the desire to steal from them their eye and thus gain their power. Following that event is what led to Nidhogg's rage and the Dragonsong War, which has waged for the past 1,000 years. It was also revealed that in that early conflict, Nidhogg lost both of his eyes, not just the one, as the Ishgardian history had originally told it. And in fact, Hraesvelgr, whom we had gone initially to attempt to parley with, had given up one of his eyes to indirectly aid Nidhogg in his 1,000 years of bloodletting. So that leaves us roughly where we are now, and I will get right back into it. I believe I already read Yazel's text box in my last stream, but for the benefit of it having been 2 days, I suppose I shall do so again. And thus did betrayal beget an unending vengeance. That's very impactful. Though he lifted not a single claw, it would seem that Hraesvelgr wreaked his own manner of vengeance against us.
"'Twas my life's goal to slay Nidhogg, but I find there is little joy to be had in its accomplishment.
But you have rid the world of a hate-filled creature, and ended a bloody war in so doing.
I lost my family to Nidhogg's flames, and 'twas with fury in my heart that I took up the lance. Every blow I struck in the name of vengeance. We were not so different, he and I.
I will not judge you for your deeds. I have not the right. Too many innocents have perished in the name of my greater good.
Yet even with all that has passed, the tale is incomplete. We are short a great worm's eye. Of the pair which Haldreth took from Nidhogg, only one is known to us, the one I bear. What then became of the other? Why did Nidhogg, who had taken such pains to prolong the Dragonsong War, suddenly decide to hurl his entire army against the walls of Ishgard? Lord Commander. Aye. The deed is done. Nidhogg is slain. What? In the city? A battle with whom? At once, Lord Commander. Hold firm till our return. Fighting has broken out in the city. Lord Emmerich was sparse with the particulars, but it seems some commoners threw open the gates to a force of heretics.
I gave no order to attack.
Are we to mark the end of the Dragonsong War by spilling the blood of our own? Mayhap Hraesvelgr was right about us. Let us away, Warrior of Light. The people must be saved from themselves.
My visor's down. Shit, I thought I fixed that.
Wait! I would join you! There has been enough violence. I will appeal to my people in the city and make them see reason.
Come then, Lady Iceheart. Let us write the final chapter in this damnable war.
I had to tinker with my sound settings, so I swapped jobs. I wonder if my visor got fucked up when I did that. I had to swap jobs so I could spam an ability to make sound, basically.
A small army of heretics has invaded the city, Your Eminence. But there is no cause for concern. A sizable contingent of our soldiers is already in place to repel the Dravanian assault, and the intruders will soon find themselves outnumbered and outmatched.
Our plans proceed apace, then?
Yes, Your Eminence. This unrest shall serve to feed the people's fear of the heretics and the dragons both.
And lend renewed fervor to their prayers for deliverance. Very good. Grant our guests what time they need to sow a measure of chaos, then order the Temple Knights to crush them.
Your will be done.
Who would have thunk it that the Asgardian Pope was a bad guy? Damn, I thought he was cool.
The moment is at hand. Excellent. All shall soon be in alignment. It is time for the Bringer of Light to die.
And it's extra annoying that my visor's down. Horsevant is completely befuzzled. This is the first time they would have seen us with Lady Iceheart, so and it tracks.
Comrades! Sheathe your swords! There is no need for further bloodshed!
My lady!
She is come!
Cue the cyberpunk song. Yeah, if I had a fucking soundboard, I'd remove this narrative so bad.
The war is ended! Nidhogg is no more! Aye, it is so! This adventurer and the Azure Dragoon laid the Great Worm low! The endless cycle of violence between man and dragon was born of our forefathers' treachery. You have followed me, bled with me, to bring this truth to light that we might all know peace. But Nidhogg is dead. Nidhogg is dead, my friends! He who bore such hatred towards Ishgard is dead! Let his hatred die with him, I say! Let us sheathe our swords and go in peace!
Have we lost?
No, my friend! Far from it! At long last, the peace for which we have so desperately fought is within our grasp. And I, for one, would not forsake it. Peace?
The stock sheath sound, I forgot about that. It's some funny shit. Like, I look so fucking power, I'll fucking fight somebody. That fucking Temple Knight there. Or not Temple Knight, fucking...
Seize the witch! Let none escape!
Heretic, I guess? Such a hostile term.
Providing aid and succor to the wounded should be our first concern. If the heretics mean to observe the peace, then it would be folly not to do the same.
Let us see how long this peace lasts. That was rather too close for comfort, but 'twould seem that calm is returning to the streets. My mind, however, yet clamors with 1,000 questions. You return to Ishgard in the oddest of company, my friend. Actually, no. Nope. Okay. Stop. There we go. That, my friend, was rather too close for comfort. Praise Halone that things did not end in bloodshed. I confess I was more than a little dismayed to see you in the company of the Lady Iceheart. Whatever is going on, Arentel? Beg pardon? You traveled to the Churning Mists together, along with Estinian? Never was there a more unlikely alliance, nor one so magnificently effective. Nidhogg dead, the heretics pacified. Father and Sir Aymeric must know of this. Let us break the news to them together. I will bring Sir Aymeric to Fort Homs Manor. Yes, an excellent suggestion. Very well, Arentel and I shall await you there. I'm gonna raise my visor before I forget to do that again. Then I'm going to promptly get lost in the pillars because I'm going to use an Aetheryte as soon as I get to one. I'm gonna nip that inevitability in the bud immediately, or fuse. I spent entirely too long getting caught on that specific outcropping. My first time through the story. I'm not doing it again. You can't make me. Ooh, instant cutscene. Life is good. The shadow's glitching out. Also good. Amazing. Lovely.
Praise Halone, you are safe.
My safety was never in doubt, Father, for I had the Azure Dragoon and the Warrior of Light by my side. We bring the most wonderful tidings.
The infamous Lady Iceheart? Here in Ishgard? This is most unexpected.
She has done much to quell the violence. The Inquisition may not approve, but we are glad of her presence.
And with the Great Worm's demise, even our nation's more reactionary elements will have scant grounds to press for her immediate impeachment.
My thoughts exactly.
What of the truth revealed to us by Hraesvelga? That the origins of the Dragonsong War, a core tenet of Ishgardian faith, are quite unlike those depicted in the scriptures.
That men and dragons once lived together in harmony, and that it was man's treachery which shattered the peace and plunged our peoples into war.
The same scripture also describes the origins of the High Houses. Were it exposed as false, the legitimacy of our rule would be called into question. If both Highborn and Lowborn can trace their ancestry to Thordan and his Knights 12.
But a single sip of dragon's blood is required to confirm their lineage.
The total and utter collapse of the Ishgardian
If the
governmental
Holy
system.
See knew of this and chose to remain silent, their crimes are grievous indeed. Regardless, this state of affairs cannot be allowed to continue.
Sir Emmerich, you cannot mean to raise this matter with the Archbishop.
Pray consider what you are proposing. If the Holy See chose to conceal the truth for centuries, what reason would they have to reveal it now?
At best, you will be branded a heretic and clapped in irons.
Then at least the Archbishop will have shown his true colors. My friends, this war will never truly be at an end until the truth is made known. You must see what lies on the horizon if it is not. When ruled by fear of a common enemy, we were united. But now we have none. During the war, the Highborn needed men to lead, and the Lowborn men to follow. Not anymore. 'Tis but a matter of time before the old order is called into question. Lady Iceheart will share the truth with her followers, and the Holy See will be powerless to stop its spread. The disenfranchised will rise up united, and blood will flow in the streets once more. A divided Ishgard will not survive.
Tread carefully, Lord Commander.
My lady, is it wise to let him go? I sympathize with the Lord Commander's desire for reform, but to approach the Archbishop in this manner bespeaks an idealism to which I did not think Sir Emmerich prone.
Though he comports himself as a realist, he has long dreamt of reform. 'Twas that idealism which first drew me to him, that which made me swear an oath to serve. We must not think of ways to hinder his cause, but rather ways to aid it, even should the Holy See cry heresy.
You cannot mean...
Down with the church.
Lord Commander
It's time to
does not
kill
return
God.
from the vault at the appointed hour, I mean to go and fetch him.
Have care, my lady. Your words border on treason. Should they reach the wrong ears, you will be declared an enemy of Ishgard.
That is a risk I am willing to take. Lest you forget, my lord, I am not born of this land. My loyalty is to the Lord Commander alone. But I speak only of what may come to pass. If the rumors regarding his heritage are to be believed, we have naught to fear.
Lies and slander.
Forgive me, what rumors are these?
That Sir Emmerich is the Archbishop's bastard son. Senior clergy are not permitted to marry and sire children. But even the holiest among us are not immune to temptation.
I labor to believe it. Sir Emmerich is truly the Archbishop's son.
He has never been publicly acknowledged as such, but the rumors have plagued him since childhood. That he rose to his current position, despite being despised as a bastard and accused of profiting from his father's influence, bespeaks the quality of his character. It is my hope that on this occasion, the burden of his birth will work in his favor. Should our worst fears be realized, the Archbishop will not be so quick to execute his own flesh and blood, affording us time to mount a rescue.
Bastard or trueborn, he is our nation's best hope. If the Holy See dares to threaten him, I shall lead the charge against the Vault myself.
Fucking
Hear,
Estinian
hear. The
beast and
future of
shit.
Ishgard rests on Sir
Absolute
Emmerich's
legend.
shoulders. I too will do mine utmost to aid his cause.
Orshafon, be reasonable.
Horsefont also an absolute legend. Every character in this room, in
A
fact.
knight lives to serve, Father. To aid those in need. The people need Sir Emmerich more than ever, and we may be his only hope. There is no greater calling for a knight than to save the life of his fellow man. I swear to you, on the sigil of our house, that I shall do this and make you proud.
Even you? Romantic, reckless fools, the lot of you. So be it. Make your preparations.
The Warrior of Light is nothing if not stupidly reckless. Of all the people, he should know better. Far be it from me to criticize a man for his blind idealism, but he might at least have pretended to consider another course. If we must risk the fortunes of our house to bring this truth to light, then so be it. But are you truly prepared to do this? To face the Heavensward in battle if you must? Yeah, I think I'll be fine. Have no fear. Oh, he was talking to Horsefont. Have no fear, Father. My arm will not falter. My shield will not break. I promise to you, we shall prevail. Though your assistance is most welcome, I fear it will not be enough. Few as we are, we will struggle to reach the Lord Commander. If we are to succeed, we must needs recruit others to our cause. Oh no. But how are we to carry out this bold endeavor? Even with an army of knights at our backs, a direct assault on the vault seems unlikely to succeed. You are correct, Master Alphino. Not even the assembled might of House Fort Thompson, the assembled knights would be sufficient. With the support of another party, however, we may yet stand a chance. You speak of one of the other high houses. Precisely the opposite. I speak of the revolutionaries rumored to reside in the Broom. 'Twas these disgruntled guardians who opened the gates of our city to the heretics, I believe. But of course, if their hatred of the Holy See drove them to such deeds, they might well be persuaded to assist in Sir Emmerich's rescue. Knowing the truth, knowing the truth, he would lay bare. Such is my hope, Master Alphino, and I would have you and Arentel reach out to them. As a temple knight and sworn servant of the Holy See, any overtures I make are doomed to fail. But as outsiders, the two of you may receive a warmer welcome. Very well, we shall seek out the leader of these revolutionaries and make our case. My thanks, Estinian. Will your brothers heed your command if you order them to stand aside? The dragoons have no love for politics, my lady. They will gladly watch and wait while the highborn fight amongst themselves. How very wise. Arentel, we should hurry to the Forgotten Knight. Nataru may have knowledge on the revolutionaries. I'm more than a little disappointed that the other dragoons never come up in the MSQ. A couple of them, well, they never appear. A couple of them show up in the dragoon job line, but that's as far as it goes. Unless I'm forgetting something, which I would say is likely. I completely missed the 8th right. But like, there's such a huge part of the trailer cinematic, and they just never show up. It would seem that the Forgotten Knight was spared the worst of the earlier chaos. Arentel, Elfino, gods, I've been worried sick. It's so good to see you. And you, Tataru, how did you manage to escape the chaos in the streets? Gibbelon and the others barricaded the doors until the heretics left. No one was harmed, thankfully. But what about you two? What came of your journey? Long story. You're not serious. What was Sir Aymeric thinking? I mean, the way you two talk about him, I wouldn't have believed. Anyway, I've heard rumors of the people you're looking for, but I doubt they'll be of much use. The only thing I can say with any certainty is that they're led by someone called the Mongrel. A queer moniker, if I've ever heard one, but mayhap it will make the individual in question easier to find. Come, let us make inquiries below. I think... Yeah, they're all in the actual room. Yeah, what's that? Speak up. I can't hear as well as I used to. Poor old man. Miracle Ear doesn't exist yet. I don't know a god's damn thing about the mongrel, but if I did, you can be sure I wouldn't tell you. They throwing at me? Holy shit, they are. This guy should be right around the corner here. Yup. A mongrel? Not sure I catch your meaning. To a blue blood, we're all of us dogs down here. Alphino. They're not helping. At first, the people here were a bit standoffish, but with little effort and a lot of parley, I've managed to make plenty of friends. I'm not going to bother with the chat blocker, I'm just going to stay on the event tab. Fuck it, I'll turn around and have to look in general or something. Not a single shred of information, just as I expected. These revolutionaries would not have evaded capture for so long without the masses' complicity. Still, it is good to know that Tataru's ears are as sharp as ever. Anything new? Oh. If you haven't yet, you should learn the Manderville art of parley. It's surprisingly effective, so long as you stick to topics you know well. For example, the other day I was discussing the copper ore market with this one gentleman. No, tell me more. Frustrating though it may be, we must press on. While I continue speaking with the people of the Broom, why not go and see if Gilbrunt knows aught of value? As the proprietor of the Forgotten Knight, surely he must have heard whispers of the mongrel before. We can only hope that he will be more forthcoming than the others. You know, people long for a sympathetic ear, but they need to know that it comes with tight lips. Discretion, Arentel. That's what my customers expect. If they don't get it, then I don't get them. That being said, I'm not without my sympathies. I've heard the tales, and I know you've done right by highborn and lowborn alike. Least I can do is point you in the right direction. But to do that, I'll need you to do something for me. So happens there's a hunter up in the Cosier who owes me a fair bit of coin. However, I've agreed to accept payment in fresh herbs. Go and get them for me, agreed? I think this one leads directly to the Cosier. I think. If not, then it's this one, and I'll just use the 8th rate at that point. No, I'm completely fucking lost. Where's the 8th rate? That didn't take long. Yeah, I'm on the complete opposite side. God damn it. Hello? There we go. Jewel Cosier. Here, Gilbrun's errand boy. Good, good. How's he doing? Same as always? Right. Any road? I hope he appreciates how much trouble I had to go through on account of these bloody herbs. Tell him to enjoy them while they last, because I doubt I'll be able to find any more next year. Here's the Aetheryte. I'm not running back to the Forgotten Night. I mean, it is interesting to think that Ishgard's only been this way for 5 years. The snow and the cold, not so much everything else. But all the snow and shit wasn't a problem until the calamity. So I think it is on some level interesting that they adapted so well, and that like the architecture didn't just implode because of it. On a related note, I do wonder if or where there's any like side content that really like explores the immediate aftermath of the calamity in some of the more disparate areas. I know that there's a fair few tales from the calamity short stories, but from what I've seen, they only really cover the 3 main city-states and Elfino and Alizé. They don't really go into Ishgard or I guess Ishgard's the odd one out, but I don't know. It'd be neat to get some more background on how they dealt with holy shit the utter freezing over of everything they've ever known. Sniff sniff. Well, you want to hand them over or not? Herbs. I had this all to do it with a few other spices. I can make it just like she used to. There are a few things which stir the hearts of men like a sip of mulled wine. Share a glass with the right people, and who knows what stories they'll share. Now that I think on it, there's a woman I know who's rather fond of this blend. Hyaritha. I'm gonna go with Hyaritha. Hyaritha is her name, and she resides in the Pillars. She's a maid servant to some noble house or another. I forget. Anyway, be a shame if she didn't get to try this wine. Why not give her a bottle? I'm so glad that all of the modern city-states that come out are a single map area. Honestly, that's a quality of life thing. I think it'd be real neat for them to do. Is collapse all of the city-states into single zones. I have to wonder if it's still technical limitations that prevent them from doing that, or if it's like, what's the point limitations, you know? The kind of thing where it's like, there isn't a really good justification for doing it other than, I guess, minor aesthetic things. It would certainly, it would honestly, despite the overall context of my bringing it up, it would probably further complicate navigation. Yes, I've always forgotten how I was pronouncing your name. Hythra. Hyrethra. Yeah, okay, please don't let me say your name again. Beg your pardon, but do I know you, sir? Here is some alcohol. I know this smell. This was the wine that girl used to prepare. Her special recipe. It must be decades since I last tasted this. Oh, the poor dear. Such a shame that she was taken in by that baron. He caught a dashing figure, I'll grant you that. Tall, slender, long of ear. Sigh. But those dazzling ruby eyes of his were filled with lust. 'Twas not more than infatuation. What she felt, but 'twas not more than infatuation what she felt, but she convinced herself it was love, and he couldn't help but take advantage. And when her belly started to grow, gods, the scandal. I mean, 'tis not an uncommon occurrence, but that it was with a heir made it so much more, well, I needn't tell you. She was discharged from his service, cast out onto the streets like so much refuse. After she returned to the broom, we drifted apart. I only learned of her death years later by chance. Big F. And now we get to sink real deep into that classist struggle that was being hinted at earlier. Isn't that fun? It would also be cool if there was if there was more city to explore. It's utterly unrealistic and exceedingly unnecessary. Oh shit, there's Elfino. I doubt they would be so careless as to be caught out by the Temple Knights. Nevertheless, it is only prudent we ask. Where's Tataru hiding? There's Tataru. Shit, I didn't even know about this. At first, I had trouble getting to know people, but with a little effort, okay, I already read that. This broom. Cool. Well, at least Elfino has something new to say. Probably. It'd be really funny if that was just a repeat and I read it anyway. Bamboozled again. So the amorous nobleman beds his maidservant, then casts her aside when the seeds take root. Not the most original tale, is it? Cold comfort for the women and children who live through it, though. Even the penitent can appreciate wine from time to time. Take, for example, surely you've heard of him, no? He's a monk who offers succor to the poorest of the poor and the broom, a man of many vows, but none which prohibit spirituous beverages. Aye, if ever there was a man who deserved a drink, it'd be him. More mulled wine, big log. When am I gonna get a glass of that shit? It's unfair, I say. Here? Here. Helonia's blessings be upon you, sir. A gift for me. Alcohol. The scent, how reminiscent of a wine once made by a dear old friend. May her soul rest in peace. Forsaken by her family, she toiled tirelessly to feed and clothe her child. Yet somehow she found time to help me tend to those in even worse circumstances. So compassionate she was, so full of love for her fellow man. 'Twas that love which gave her child strength to endure the scorn of the other younglings. That little girl, bless her heart, she couldn't help what she was. Eventually she won them over, but those first few years were trying, even more so when she had to start fending for herself. I remember days she spent standing on the walls, raven black hair flowing in the wind, staring out, as if searching for her mother's face in the mists. I went the wrong way. Damn. She was a remarkable woman, Arentel. After everything she was forced to endure, she still remained hopeful for the future, for her daughter's future. Some bonds are thicker than blood, but blood still defines us, and divides us in the end. It's the legacy of our parents, Arentel, and we can't escape it, no matter how hard we try. So the mongrel and her pups chose to embrace theirs, to proclaim it to all and sundry. If you can understand that, then maybe you can find her on your own. I'm just gonna, before I say something fucking stupid. Okay. Why doesn't Dragoon get a passive reduction to their fucking falling damage? Like, why? You're telling me these fuckers can jump into goddamn orbit and land just fine, but they can't hop off a 10-foot high wall without breaking their goddamn ankles? What's going on? Still looking for the mongrel, like I said before. Take your pick. Plenty around, if you know where to look. Or did you fancy someone specific? Looking for a mongrel with ruby red eyes and raven black hair. Looking for a mongrel with raven black eyes and ruby red hair. Oh, someone's got unusual tastes. Afraid I can't help you though. Won't, rather. It's bloody obvious you ain't of the broom. Did you think I would just tell you because you asked nicely? Nah, at this point I'm just trying to get found. Let's use the right way this time so I don't spend 5 minutes doing something unnecessary, eh? It's a pretty good idea, I think, right? Do not be a dumbass. It's difficult for me sometimes, but, you know, sometimes I manage. Have you made any progress, Arentel? So our mongrel was born of an Elizan nobleman and a Huron maidservant. Granted, it is no location, but it's far more information than we had before. Yes, now that her striking features are known to us, mayhap we need only remain vigilant. I think she's gonna find us. I don't actually remember exactly how this goes down, So I'm reasonably sure that, you know, there's blood in the water. She's gonna track us down. Not under peaceful auspices either. There must be a way we can draw the mongrel out into the open. Maybe we should discuss this with Tataru. Speaking of which, where is Tataru? Oh, confound it. She went below to make inquiries on her own, didn't she? We must find her quickly, Arantel. I have a premonition this is not going to end well. Oh, so you have the echo? Wow, that's fucking news to me, man. Congrats, I guess. Cast her gaze over the streets below, but see no signs of Tataru. Oh. I could have sworn that was going to be it. Shit, did I miss that one? What if I just upright? Yeah, we good. Oh shit, I gotta talk to Elfino. Hello, Elfino. Where could she have gone? Arantel. Try looking over there. Oh, fucking look where I want. I'll look over there. Goodbye, Reaper. This is not voiced. Called it. She must be around here somewhere. I take it you've had no luck either. Wait a minute. It's just a fucking line then? Oh, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything. Whoa. Wait, down there. Isn't that Tataru? Gasp, those men are chasing her. Quickly, Arantel, after them. Star Shadow Dive. Gone. This is voiced.
Where do you think you're going, Missy?
Panic.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend.
What's going on here?
What's it to you, boy? Piss off.
Hold on. I've seen them around. They're in and out of House Four Tom's Manor all the time.
Oh, I see. Skulking about at your highborn master's bidding, eh? Bloodhounds hoping to catch a whiff of heresy, is that it?
You are quite mistaken, I assure you. We came here to help. And if you know what's good for you, you will let us pass.
Haha! Listen to the pups yapping. Come here, boy. I'll give you cause to yelp.
Enough! Leave threatening women and children to our betters. We don't have the knack.
Hilda!
Lay a finger on the Blue Blood's pups, and you're like to lose the hand. And often I get called on by glorious heroes like yourself. So tell me, what have I done to deserve you?
Oh, I know it's just a scene transition. Always fucking catches me off guard. Nope, we good. Good shit. Fuck. They didn't care much for my story about the weathered cane. For one, it would seem the fates are smiling upon us. Had those ruffians forced their hand, I dare not think what would have ensued. A lot of blood, and I don't think we would be in good diplomatic standing with them after that. We got my eye on you. You can look at me all you want, buddy. It's not gonna end well for you to try shit. Whatever it is you got to say it. Granted, Hilda has a gun, so mileage may vary there. Before you start, let's go somewhere a bit more private, eh? The Forgotten Knights, say. Diplomacy success. Speech 100. 18 on the persuasion check. The DM is feeling generous. Oh, I remember this. Okay. I think it best if you take the lead this time, Arentel. I am very well known for speaking at length. I speak a lot. If you're nervous, I could try parlaying with them on your behalf. Perhaps they'd be interested in techniques for working Lauren logs, or maybe the tale of the cursed gladius. Oh, I know, the legendary skillet. Everyone loves that one. I got okay, dude. Yeah. Okay, dude. I'm just gonna make a fucking text box, big old fucking text box I can toggle. This is the part where I bitch about MSQ instances being too easy. Let's flash that for 5 seconds before it goes away, and I don't have to mention it again. I don't know, maybe this will be the one. Maybe this will be the one that makes me have to think. I can hope. It's not gonna happen. I don't expect it. It's probably unfair to expect. I'm getting real mixed vibes as whether or not this is gonna be voiced or not. What is my bitrate doing? What? Hang in there, buddy. Holy shit.
So, while you're on your way to kill Nidhogg, you stumbled on some dirty secrets that the Holy See has been hiding for centuries.
Exactly. You seem to be caught up.
What are they on about?
The high houses. And what makes a nobleman so bleeding noble? They trace their blood back to King Thordan and his Knights 12, the founders of Ishgard. But our friends here reckon we're all descended from the heroes of Eld. Highborn and lowborn alike. And so Sir Emmerich, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, has gone to ask the Archbishop if he wouldn't mind letting everyone know.
Is he simple? The old bastard will have him executed for heresy.
Well, seems to me that's what the good sir wants. Seems he thinks a noble sacrifice will serve to prove his claims.
We cannot stand idly by and allow Sir Emmerich to do this. Ishgard has need of him.
Look, you've a good heart, I can see that. Willing to risk your neck for someone else even when his troubles ain't yours. But what's this got to do with me?
If Sir Emmerich is imprisoned in the vault, we will need all the help we can muster to breach their defenses and rescue him.
What in the hell's?
I don't think you're surviving that. That was a bad fall.
Ah,
he's got a fucking major concussion minimum.
Scent of heresy. And what do we have here? The honored guests of House Fortom consorting with the Queen of Rats. Ooh, plotting insurrection, I shouldn't wonder. That won't do. Sickness is wont to fester and spread.
So sickness must be
It
purged.
must be burnt out ere the infection takes hold.
I reckon Sir'd be happy to wield the irons himself. Well, so happens I've got irons of my own.
Shoot him. Bing bang. Fucker's got magic. It's bullshit.
Such simple creatures, rats. Certain to attack when cornered. Let us step outside, milady. In here, your toys could hurt someone.
I can't wait to beat up more Heavensward. I love beating up the Heavensward. Also, second meaning of Heavensward. Hey. Oh, I'm not dealing 80% of their health per hit. Things are looking. Oh wait, no, I gotta take more damage. I take them all back. Walk again.
Right there!
I almost thought it was going to make me have to focus down the Kyrusian, but I got my hopes up. It's my own damn fault, really. Let's do that. That is by far and away the worst way to travel in these things. You're fucking killing the NPCs. One of the biggest downsides to running as a DPS instead of a tank is honestly not being able to pull the aggro off the NPCs easily. Right, back to DPS from the main guy. Time to get fucked. Oh damn, oh, there's an ally. Orshapant joins in the plot to overthrow the Holy See. Absolutely. Finish him off. Mordecai Rouge remains your bastard. Yes. Yes, we can. You know what? I had to use a full brain cell for that. I was never in any danger, but I did have to think just a little bit.
There's no denying your gifts. A well-deserved reputation indeed.
Enough!
I'm something of a legend. I'm pretty cool. Big bang.
Lucky bastard.
Nay, 'tis we who are lucky. Had we fought on, 'twas but a matter of time before our conflict claimed the life of an innocent bystander.
I thought the Heavensward might come here as well.
They came to the Temple Knights' headquarters.
Aye. Sir Grinno announced that the Lord Commander had been imprisoned under suspicion of heresy, and that the Heavensward had been granted full authority in his stead.
Oh boy.
Then the Heavensward now commands the Temple Knights.
Those
Civil
still
War,
loyal
let's
to
go.
Sir Emmerich answer to me. Alas, that amounts to but half our number. The other half, who opposed his promotion to Lord Commander, have gathered at the vault as ordered.
Bolstering the guard already, eh? If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were expected.
I take it you're in charge around here?
Hilda. And yes, the young master was just persuading me to join his lost cause. Convincing little beggar, isn't he? Your passion moved me. A bit. That, and the fact that we're sick of living off the leavings of our betters. If you've a mind to change things around here, then we've a mind to join you.
Okay. Civil War brews in Ishgard. I never liked him, not since his days as an Inquisitor. He took far too much pleasure in his work. Time is of the essence, Arentel. We must move quickly before they discern our intent. I had not reckoned with the Temple Knights' involvement, nor as enemies at any rate. First, Sir Grenot and Sir Policarn, and now, character. I mean, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are all Knights of the Heavensward bad? Yes. All. Holy shit! You can pronounce it the same way. ACAB. All Knights are bastards. Except for Horsefant and Lucia. Handful of other exceptions. Bugger me if you ain't everything they say. How in the hells did you do that thing with the other thing? You know, you see, first I pull out the weapon, and then I press the button, and an attack happens. Ho ho ho! You didn't half give that highborn scum what for. That was a sight for sore eyes, that was. Let me guess. You're wondering why I chose the mongrel, right? I have a guess. Because it's what I am, and I'm not ashamed of it. Not anymore. Besides, even my pureblood pups have more in common with me than the lords and ladies up on high. They, none of them, are well-bred. Hells, so some of their mothers were cast out after a spot of fun, same as mine. Story old as time, and we're sick of hearing of it. Which is why we took up arms. Not that we mean to hold all the blue bloods to account. Some have done right by us, I'll allow, like them in House Hillionaire. Of course, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you? But enough talk. Your friend's still rotting in a cell. Still rotting in a cell. Let's not keep him waiting. Oh. I do not relish the thought of facing the Temple Knights in battle, but what other choice do we have? That's not new. That's not new. Yeah, okay, hold up. Moving on. Swiftly. We've been working in secret to undermine the Holy See and the High Houses. That much I'll acknowledge. This nonsense about us throwing wide the gates for the heretics is just that. Nonsense. If not you, then who? You Temple Knights, of course. Reckoned it was your beloved Sir Emerich's doing it first, but then I heard how he lost his head. My next best guess would be the Heavensward. That way That way, they'd have the perfect excuse to go door to door through the broom, slaughter the heretics and their sympathizers in one fell swoop. The Heavensward schemes did not account for Lady Iceheart's intervention, and so they have been forced to improvise. A fine bloody mess, ain't it? But the die is cast, so what's the plan? We go in the front door, and we beat down everyone who gets in my way. We must divert the attention of the high houses away from the city, and to do that, we need the cooperation of your allies in their service. What makes you think I have friends in high places? You would be fools not to, given your goals. Low-born knights are ideal targets. Most swore fealty only out of a desire for a better life. If offered an opportunity to shed the yoke and live for themselves, who among them would not at least be tempted to take it? Rare is the man eager to die for a cause he does not hold dear. But it need not come to that this day. If they and their fellow knights are deployed afield to deal with a new threat, amassing heretics for example, then they will be unable to join in the defense of the vault. Spread false reports of an attack and get them out of harm's way, you mean? The city will not soon forget the heretics' last assault. If the high houses believe another attack is imminent, they will have no choice but to act. Can it be done? Can we trick them into leaving Ishgard? Aye. Can we keep them out for long? Not bloody likely. Make sure you're ready before I send the word, because you won't get a second chance at this. Then it's decided. To the vault. The Archbishop must be held to account. And the Lord Commander granted his liberty. One chance only, Arentel. Make it count. Gods help me. I think we just might do this. Did you see the way she wielded that weapon of hers? Maybe I should get one for my own protection. Casually swaps the gunbreaker, pulls out the giant mech. With allies such as these, we cannot fail. Not really a mech automaton. Hearken to me, everyone. We have two objectives. Rescue Sir Emmerich and apprehend the Archbishop. We will therefore divide our forces into two parties. Lord Harshfont, Estinian, Master Elfino, and I will make ready to breach the underground jail and search for the Lord Commander. We will not move, however, until a secondary party has entered the vault. I speak of your party, Warrior of Light. For this plan to succeed, you will need to fight your way into the highest levels of the vault, even unto the Archbishop's private chambers. When the Heavensward realize what you intend, they will fly to their master's side, leaving only a token force to guard the jail. Temple Knights loyal to our cause have already secured the entrance to the vault. Once you are within, they will signal to us. If all goes to plan, we shall rejoin you and Sir Emmerich and confront the Archbishop together. Is everyone clear as to their duties? Then let us do what needs to be done. I'm going to turn that back on preemptively because I think it's high time I actually start giving parties a warning that despite the fact that this is not my first time through, I'm watching the cutscenes. Not entirely sure how I'm going to word that, but I'll improvise. Or maybe I'll just say nothing. I'll just keep being fucking silent. Like an asshole. Like, why is this fucking guy still watching the cutscenes? What's this fucking problem? Ugh. I don't know. It is one of those moments, right, where it's like, I can kinda... It helps me see the usefulness of the trust system, despite how reticent I am to welcome that with open arms. Because, yeah, going through this with trusts would probably be better. If only because it means I'm not making other people watch cutscenes with me. Despite the fact that I've technically already seen them. The others are in position, Master Arentel. I will send word once you and your party have entered. Enter the vault. Boy, this fucking queue is gonna be a fucking trip, I can tell you already. So I've been playing a good bit of Path of Exile in my free time. I think I mentioned it in maybe my second stream, if not last stream, that I poked my head back into that. And after wiping the slate clean, just getting rid of all my old characters and the past times I've tried to play, I would have a lot of fun. I'm only on Act 3, but I don't know. I feel like at least some of the new player things are a little overblown in terms of people like complaining about them. But I was a bit worried about their talk of like the end game, because it's a little hard to tell sometimes when people talk of end game if they're talking about. Okay, the main bit of confusion I was having is I was seeing these posts, these videos talking about the campaigns, and in my head, when I think of a campaign, I still think that what they're talking about is like a plot line, a story, right? And the only reason I'm really playing Path of Exile is because I like isometric action RPGs. But more so even than that, I really enjoy stories. It is one of my few passions. I really enjoy just taking in stories and to some degree breaking them down, coming to understand them, and I don't know if I'm enough of a fan rambling about them and their implications to strangers online, because I'm you know. But the way that at least some of the discourse I was bumping into was making things sound was that like before I get to the end of the primary story content, I'm going to be suffering endlessly, because the only way forward at that point is to like hyper optimize your layouts, grind endless gems and shit to re-roll your stats until you have infinite resistance to fucking all elements always. And only 2 builds are actually viable. You know, the kind of thing, or among the things that completely turn me off from playing WoW. So yeah, but like asking about that on the Reddit, you know, that hive of scum and villainy, has surprisingly assuaged some of my fears, despite having to sift through the people just actively yelling at me. I don't know. I think it's it gives you a little bit of perspective on like when people talk about like the early game for 14, because it can be really easy when you're really in a game, to get a really twisted view of what new players are going to be going through. In the form of 14, I've found is that something that I've recently discovered, because there was a bit of a period when I was playing with an alt as opposed to going through New Game Plus, and I ended up dropping that idea mainly because of the issues with early game leveling. Is that one of the most prevalent pieces of advice that's given to new players is ignore the yellow quests. All the yellow quests are terrible and bad. You shouldn't touch them. They're a total waste of your time. And by and large, that's really good advice. Pretty much every yellow quest, with very, very few exceptions, is boring filler. It gives you very, very minor world-building details, and what few good yellow quests there are absolute diamonds in the rough. They're few and far between, and some of them are very good, but they're very rare. But what I found as I was playing through with an alt, through like the first 30 or so levels, is that no, you need to do at least some yellow quests, because you do not get enough gil to outfit yourself. So your only option then is to do quests that will, the yellow quests that will give you the gear that you can't afford to buy from merchants. And that doesn't really start going away until you're like above level 50. And given the way that you get XP when you're going through ARR, there's a decent chance you're even gonna hit level 50 a decent bit before you get access to the tombstone vendors. So it really it was really kind of interesting for me to realize this, because now whenever I see someone talking about early game tips, I make sure that I have that caveat, because you shouldn't ignore all the yellow quests. You should just skip their fucking dialogue. And like I'm vehemently against skipping story in this game. And there's but my position is a great deal more nuanced than just do not skip stuff in this game. But like it really is interesting to hear myself say that, right? Like, no. You should do the quest. You just skip all the dialogue. It's not worth your time. But like on one hand, that could create instances where they're doing yellow quests and they're skipping one of the good ones, rare as they are. So it's, I don't know, it's a difficult piece of advice to give, but unless they kind of tweak the gear progression for the first 50 levels, that's the best advice you can give. Because once you get to the end of 2.0, you've beaten the ultimate weapon, and you can get the tombstone gear, the ironwork stuff. It doesn't fucking matter. You just every 10 levels you buy up your tombstone gear, and you're set for another 10 levels, and you keep going, and you're fine. Well, I guess the only real exception being like Endwalker, the last dungeon for that, you should really have your job gear on. The Crypt Lurker isn't great, but even then, as long as the rest of your party is properly geared, you can be carried really easily. Even a tank who's in full Crypt Lurker with a healer who's in like the classical gear, which is the current crafted raid tier, not even augmented, because I've done it. You can get through with, the healer just having to use a bit more brain cells than they would usually. It's not comfortable, right? Which I suppose on a certain level it might be what you want, because a lot of the okay, I don't do high-end content. I don't do ultimates. I don't do extremes. I have several reasons for it, but among those reasons is I'm a scared little bitch who really is afraid of dragging down a full party and who wants nothing to do with setting up a static, because I have zero guarantee on my time of when I will have the requisite quiet to be in a group call. Hence why I do not think I've started stream at a consistent time once. But that said, the vast majority of the content in this game is really fucking easy. At least the vast majority of the normal mode content, right? And it's to a point where it is a little disappointing sometimes. Like, I'm genuinely disappointed in how easy some of the raids have gotten. Because after I got past the point where I was comedically under-geared, by comedically under-geared I mean I didn't have the classical set yet. I didn't have it melded, or despite the absolute first time through, there really isn't any normal mode content that makes you think. I guess Zodiar. I mean, shit. This is one of my favorite dungeons in Heavensward. I want to say it's the next one up chronologically is, I think, a little better, but just between the soundtrack of this area and what follows, it's, yeah, you'll see. So let's see if everyone here is up on what they're doing. Well, I don't think the tank is AoE. The tank is no AoE. Fleck is good. We're good. I also don't know why they opened with Home Gang, but I'll let it pass. Worst case scenario, I give some job advice. Even worst case scenario, they fucking ignore me. No, they're doing fine. They're doing fine. I'm gonna guess they fat finger Home Gang into the fan. I've done that before. I fat finger fucking Living Dead nonstop. I get Sonic Thrust at 62. Gotta wait till fucking Stormblood to get Sonic Thrust. Tank Goon, you good? Are they trying to point the mobs away from me? Are they? What's going on? I think Tank Goon is a little confused. Is Tank new? Yes. They are forgiven. They'll learn. They're not doing bad enough for me to pull them into it. They're honestly doing fine. If I can live with slower pulls. Yeah, the fucking organs are so good. You know, I really wish that, or some more accurate, something I think would be really cool is if there was a party finder setting, or a matchmaking setting, where you don't queue, so it's unrestricted, but it sinks down your item level just enough that you can solo the entire dungeon, but not so much that you one-hit KO everything, basically. Then obviously it wouldn't work on like modern dungeons because we weren't geared enough for it yet, for that to factor in yet. But I think it'd be really neat if I could solo this dungeon with my full kit. I think that's how the Unreal trials work, which I haven't touched either because I kind of thought they were extremes, but the more I hear about it, the more I think about it, the more I start to wonder, is it literally just modern, old trials that have been synced up to modern gear level. Because if that's the case, that's really cool. I'll probably start doing them because I don't know. The idea of like fighting Titan when I have my full level 90 loadout is entertaining to me. Or more accurately, fighting Titan with my full level 90 loadout and he doesn't die in 8 hits because I just am a god who does 800,000 damage per smack. I mean, you can at level 90 in crafted gear, you can solo pretty much everything Storm's Blood and back. Some things are gonna take you a fucking while, and the raids especially, you'll have to know what you're doing. But like, it's doable. I don't think Doomspike is a game on 2. Doomspike is a game on 2. I think once I get the combo, it's a game on 2. Tank friend? Aggro, please? Please? There we go. I seem to have an aversion to the Scholar's Sacred Soil. I feel bad for the Scholar. I've actually been playing a lot more Scholar recently. I don't know. I think I might like Scholar more than Sage. It's a really hard call. Scholar's got a handful of mechanics that I like a lot more than Sage. Like, with Scholar, it feels like once you run out of Aether Flow, you aren't completely fucked the same way that a Sage is completely fucked if they run out of Adder's Golf. And there are like 2 or 3 other resources they have. It's a very different feeling. I get the feeling that the tank is not watching chat because the fact that they keep leaving sacred soil is suspect.
I will not yield to you!
I have the power! It always pisses me off, right? Like, I can get what would make someone want to avoid the chat. There's plenty of decent reasons. But especially in this game, with a community that is as renowned for being decent as Worms is, a lot of those reasons don't really feel like they would apply. You're not gonna get shit on for playing bad. The worst you can expect is someone to give you advice. And if the actual worst case scenario happens, someone is being a toxic asshole, the GMs do their fucking jobs. Like you file a report and that person is done for. You know? It's like, please look at your chat. Have it open in a window somewhere. You don't need to talk in it, but like, there's a good chance that at some point you're gonna do something wrong, or you're not gonna know something, especially if it's your first time going through a piece of content. And more often than not, the other people playing the game are gonna clue you in a way that isn't necessarily harsh. And it's better that you learn these very simple lessons, like please stay in the sacred soil bubble, in content where you're not likely to die because of it, than not learning until you're like running the level 87 dungeon, or 87? 86 dungeon, and you're not standing in the sacred soil, so you fucking die because the scholar literally cannot keep up. It's a balance, right? On a similar note, DPS really shouldn't be pulling the things. There is exceptions to this. Of course there are. But, oh man, that's actually starting to get under my skin. Seeing them running out of the fucking bubble. I don't know why the scholar hasn't pulled it back in there. The dungeon's almost over. I'm sure they'll learn eventually. There's nothing they can do to, like, make it so that people can't just ignore the party. Because for every instance where they're ignoring chat because, for like no good reason, there's going to be an instance where they purposely close the chat because it's being mass. You know, like it's not a fair thing to restrict. Even though they can still just outright ignore the fucking big box in the corner of the screen. So it's like, you know? It's really annoying. It's really annoying when you see someone who's doing something wrong, and it's because they don't understand something. It's not because they're bad or anything. You know, we're all ignorant at some point, and they just don't look at chat, so they can't they can't learn, because the only realistic way for them to gain that information they're utterly ignoring.
Filthy rats!
This person is also not doing a great job of catching aggro or like, which, again, it's not a huge deal. But it's gonna be a problem later when there's problems. I can instantly kill a party member who quickly take the act. It's gonna come back to bite them if they don't learn.
And now the final cut.
But no, that'll be someone else's problem, I suppose. It feels bad when you can't help someone.
Mercy. You disgust me.
I like how Skull cast it and white fucking clockwork.
Sickness must be purged.
Before a danger bomb goes in, I'm doing my part.
Be done with you.
They turn off their fucking stats.
Sickness must be purged.
Is this some kind of joke? You know what? Go off, little warrior. I'll fucking solo the boss. You got this. I believe in you.
Sit.
Like, that's like... We have no confirmation that they're doing this intentionally and therefore cannot claim that they are griefing. All I can say is that it feels a lot like something that someone who wants to grief the party would do. Maybe because they're upset that people are telling them to please follow like mechanics and stay in the bubble that makes you take less damage. I would never suggest that someone would willingly willingly have thrown a dungeon because they're upset that they happened to not know something. Anyway, my malicious compliance will simply be not giving them a commendation, and I will be happy with that. Oh man. So, this will either be a very long stream or a very short stream. Or actually, not a short stream. I think a moderate stream, a normal stream even. Essentially, I'm either going to end at about 9:30 or I'm gonna end when my voice gives out. Because I effectively have most of the night to play, where I have reasonable guarantee that I will not have substantial background sound. I tend to use that because I haven't gotten a chance to use the MSQ in a fucking minute. Hopefully, there'll be fewer instances of this type of behavior. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and they're genuinely doing their best, right? Because they're clearly trying to follow the mechanics, right? So maybe they're on a controller hitting buttons and rolling the bubble, or they've always been getting out of the bubble, and now it's just muscle memory they have to break because they're really focused on following the mechanics. So, they know they need to stay in the bubble, but they're hardwired to see AoE get out of AoE. Or maybe they're colorblind and they can't see the bubble. That's realistic. I have a colorblind friend. I can understand why they might not be able to differentiate between a bad AoE, something like orange and blue.
This shall be a mercy.
It is believable.
You disgust me.
You know, never attribute to malice that which you can attribute to ignorance. Right? That said,
sickness must be purged.
They're clearly looking at chat. They're still getting out of the bubble and staying out of the bubble. And you know,
be done with you.
It is very difficult for me to not be annoyed by that.
Sickness must be purged.
Why did you wait so long to accept the raise?
Sickness must be purged.
So, I was talking about how I'm very keen on the trust dungeons. This is it. This is it right here. Not the chain mechanic because this is the first. I think this is the first time it comes up. But giving this person the full benefit of the doubt. But like, I don't know, I think we're going to see an increase in people who don't know how to play the game because trusts carried them. So they didn't really need to fully pay attention to dungeon mechanics or boss mechanics. And I think it's going to cause problems. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm very open to being wrong on this. And if I'm being honest, the degree of increase that I've noticed in this kind of level of play hasn't been significant. You know, it's still entirely feasible that I'm just bumping into people who, you know, are still learning how to do things. I am gonna be
Filthy
honest
rats!
though. If we wipe the game, I might initiate. Like,
Be done with you!
I'm getting annoyed, and we're kind of past the point of like there's not understanding.
Sickness must be purged.
And then there's purposefully getting out of sacred soil every time it's cast, despite being told several times to stay in sacred soil. Like,
and now the final cut.
You know? I try really hard to be a good person. You're like a good denizen of Fallout. And far more often than not I am. And I don't think I'm being unreasonable here. It just really feels like we're hitting a point.
This shall be a mercy. You disgust me.
Don't pretend if for whatever reason you aren't able to like keep something close. Because while tank mains have a tendency to be full of themselves, they are a very important part of the party. And if you are unable to keep track of mechanics for whatever reason you may have, you need to not look at it.
Sickness must be purged.
Or you need to only play things other people like you or have like a preformed party. Or you need to make it clear when you enter a dungeon, hey, I have some problems, which means that I am difficult.
Sickness must be purged.
You know, please understand. So like at least the insidious thought that you're doesn't creep into the mind. Doesn't creep into the mind. Oh, thank God. Because just the idea in the back of my head that maybe they're just fucking with me is enough to really speed up how quickly I get annoyed. Regardless of my attempts to suppress that, I can just feel the bile sort of rise up to the back of my throat. Ugh. Anyway. What comes next is, it is something to behold. So buckle up because one of the first really big turns in the story.
Our power! How can this be? Fall back!
Here we see a thankfully growingly uncommon instance of the Warrior of Light succumbing to ARR syndrome, where he just stands around and watches as things happen when he's fully capable of doing something about it. No matter what class you're playing, you could do something. Why aren't you doing something?
We were not too late, my friend!
Why must you do this, father? Nidhogg is fallen. There is no need for further deception. Now is the time to renounce the lies which led us down this path. To start anew!
And tear down the very pillars of our society? Our history, our values, everything we have built over 1,000 years? A fool to the last.
Look out!
Go. Azizla awaits.
Lord Orchefort!
You are unharmed? Forgive me. I could not bear the thought of... Oh, do not look at me so. A smile better suits a hero.
That, a lot of people cry at that scene, and, the first time that I cried at this game was, wasn't until Shadowbringers, but it does hit really, really hard. Especially during with the foreshadowing that happened in the manor before this, that I took a lot. It very nearly got me when he said what he did in Fort Tom's Manor back when we were first looking for Hilda. And man, it does hit surprisingly harder now that I'm going through it again. It's because I read more of the side dialogue and shit. But man, I know not what to say. The others, they are gathered at Fort Tom's Manor. It But yeah. The others are, please enter, Master Malfred. This scene got me closer to crying than the actual moment, because just...
Don't. Please. A knight lives to serve, to protect, to sacrifice. There is no greater calling. Leave me to mourn and give chase. For my son, and for the nation he loved. Go!
His sacrifice shall not be forgotten.
My son.
That line right there is one of the most raw lines in the entire game, and it doesn't even have a text box. I could not stand there in silence, but when all others had forsaken us, Lord Haurchefant took us in, our beacon of hope in a world of darkness. He did his utmost to raise our spirits, so for that we might face our troubles with courage, with conviction, so that we might face them as knights. We must press on with our mission. Tutaru, pray return to your duties as a forgotten knight. Let us go speak with Sir Emmerich, Arentel. I worry for his well-being. And, with that, we now set on a warpath. Man, that's just... It is a very strong moment in the story. An audience with the Lord Commander, yes. Yes, of course. Curse those bloody whoresons and piss on their swerving round table. Sir Emmerich.
My friends, I am in your debt.
Think nothing of it. Your wounds are healing well, I trust.
Some wounds do not heal.
Ooh, the echo. I wonder what this is going to be. I've actually forgotten what this is about. Oh! Now I remember. Okay.
The Founding. The Scriptures, 1,000 years of lies, all to deceive the common man. Nay, our own brothers and sisters. For the blood of the Knights 12 flows within all our veins. You knew this to be true. You knew, and you concealed it.
I should be interested to hear how you came by this knowledge. But yes, you have the right of it. The architects of Ishgard, King Thordan and his Knights 12, entrapped and butchered the great worm, Ratatosker, that they might partake of her eyes and thereby transcend their mortal limits.
Upon learning of their treachery, Nidhogg was consumed with a murderous and justified rage. I dare say you know what followed.
The great worm slew the king and half of his knights.
Aye, but Nidhogg was subdued, and his eyes plucked from their sockets by the knights that remained. Their one mistake was to show mercy, for from his brother Hreysvelgr did Nidhogg receive a new eye, thus rejuvenating his form and empowering him to embark upon an eternal quest for vengeance.
Whilst Thorden's son Haldreth took one of Nidhogg's eyes and learned to wield its power in defense of his people.
Thus was the first Azure Dragoon born, and ever since that time, his honored successors have risen to drive Nidhogg from our lands whenever the worm has returned to plague us. I ask you, my son, will you answer for my sins? Will your son and his son answer for me as well?
What do you mean?
If a man cannot atone for his sins in the course of his all too fleeting life, must his progeny then be held to account? Must every subsequent generation be judged as well?
So, the Pope's a bastard, right? The Archbishop, sorry. He's awful. He is definitively morally in the wrong overall. The things he does, the people he gets killed, the people he literally kills, the never-ending lies and the subjugation of his people, he's not a good guy. But I agree with this point. I despise the idea of the sins of the father. That the children must be made to suffer for the crimes of their parents. I don't believe it just. I think it's wrong. I think that the most which can be expected out of someone, out of a child of someone truly awful, is to acknowledge the evils of their sire. I don't believe that you should link that there should be this eternal chain of penance. I think that truly evil people can, through utter happenstance and luck, create good people. If only out of spite, or because the children are their own people and can, under the right circumstances, be radically and utterly different from their parents. And it's because of this, among other moral concerns, that, no, I agree with Thornton. I understand the perspective of the dragons. But I also think that at the end of the day, the degree of their rancor is not just. That they cannot even attempt to expand their perception, or shrink, I suppose, their perception to that of beings where in the length of their nightly rest are there dozens of generations. So, but, you know, in every other regard, he's a piece of shit, you know.
Thorin's betrayal of Ratatoskr was an unconscionable, unforgivable sin. Should we then, as his descendants, meekly surrender ourselves to an eternity of punishment? Nay, say I. I would not see our children sacrificed in a vain attempt to appease an implacable foe. Dragons are not like us, my son. To they who live forever, the wrongs of antiquity are as those of yesterday. No reparations shall ever suffice. This fact alone should serve as ample justification for our actions. Yet some refuse to see it as such. For men like you, who yearn to commit themselves to a nobler cause, a more compelling narrative is required.
This is your solution. This is how you protect our people. You have given us a lost cause, a death sentence. With your compelling narrative, you but doom our countrymen to give their lives for a lie.
And they do so gladly. Highborn and lowborn alike are proud to serve, to fight and die for their country.
Needless deaths, though. Needless.
And what would you say to them? What would you tell the wives who have lost their husbands? The mothers who have lost their sons? That their loved ones died for naught?
No, just make a scapegoat out of you.
Over the course of 1,000 years, countless men have donned these robes, and every one of them came to accept the necessity of this solution. Once, I hoped you might come to accept it as well. Do not despair, my son. Soon I shall free us from the sins of antiquity, and bring about the change you so fervently desire. If he has spoken with others, I would have their names. Escort him to a cell and question him thoroughly.
Your Eminence.
You saw something, did you not? A vision of the past?
So this is the power of the Echo. Would that it had shown you a finer moment from my past. 'Twas an exercise in futility, as you saw. Faced with the firmity of his conviction and his many ready rejoinders, my words deserted me. To be frank, I am embarrassed to recall it.
A friend once impressed upon me the importance of differentiating between words, deeds, and beliefs. Were he here, I suspect he would judge your father's conviction to be no more than rank, self-serving delusion. Even so, I cannot help but wonder what manner of change he intends to bring about.
I have given some thought to that as well. During the battle within the vault, the Heavensward demonstrated strange and unnatural abilities.
Almost like they
were. The manner in which Sir Zephyrin struck down Lord Horsefall was unlike anything I've ever seen before.
The spectacle called to mind King Thordan and his Knights 12 as they are depicted in scripture, holy powers and all.
Mere fabrications, which have become objects of faith, instilled with the belief of countless devoted souls. 7 hells!
If Lady Iceheart can use her own body as a vessel for summoning, I see no reason why others could not.
Are the Heavensward truly so reckless?
Unbelievable.
As they fled, my father spoke of Azis La. Though I know not what he intends, I fear no good shall come of it. His ambitions are too great, and his minions too powerful. We must find the Heavensward and stop my father before it is too late.
I hate leaving that. Master Malfred. Master Alphino. I am... Why does he call Alphino by his first name, but not me? Master Alphino. I, Emmerich, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights of Ishgard, do hereby entreat the aid of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Our aid in preventing whatever it is that the Archbishop intends. I do not know if I read that right. Your aid in bringing him to justice? Too much blood has been spilled for the lies he perpetuated. Perpetuated. No more. Life for death. I will have Sir Zephyrin's heart for what he did to Horshamon. I'm gonna go with I shall pursue him to the ends of the world if I must. I'm not quite that vindictive. Not vocally. I am very much that vindictive. I thank you, Arentel. I have heard many men I have heard many men make such pledges, but you speak in earnest. Much has changed since our order's founding, but our duty to combat the primal threat has not. If the Archbishop and his Heavensward are guilty of the crime of summoning, then Arentel and I will stop them. Would that I could join you in the pursuit, but alas, my father's absence has thrown our government into chaos. Ever since the founding of our nation, there has been an archbishop to serve as a guiding light for the masses, a force for stability to counterbalance the High House's ceaseless maneuvering. Convincing the people to recognize the truth of our origins would have been difficult even with my father's support. The road ahead is that much more fraught with peril without him. Yet walk it we must, for unity is more vital to our survival than ever. After all, Nidhogg's death did not mark the cessation of Dravanian hostilities, far from it. We will have great need of each other in the days to come. You may ever count on my lance, Sir Emmerich. To my dying breath I shall defend Ishgard from the Horde. If I may, Lord Commander, I would like to assist the Scions in their search for the Archbishop. Master Arentel, Master Alphino, I pray attend me outside. Very well. With me, Arentel. I believe we have much to discuss. And I think that is a good point for a little bit of a break. So, I'm gonna step away for 5-ish minutes, and then we'll be right back on with the MSQ. Okay, I am back. Let us keep going. Where could they be headed, and what does Az's Law have to do with it? The Soliel was eastward bound, so I sent word to Camp Cloud Top on the off chance the airship passed nearby. Sure enough, Lady Lediat informed me that it had been sighted by her scouts. Then the Archbishop is somewhere in the Sea of Clouds. Or was, not long ago. The airship has not been seen since it disappeared into the northern reaches near the Black Window. Alas, because the region is firmly held by the Vanu Vanu and not easily accessible by Camp Cloud Top, House Hillionaire has yet to establish a foothold. We will need not only an airship, but a captain bold enough to risk the Beastman's wrath. I think we both know the perfect candidate, Arantel. Let us pay a visit to Master Garland at the Sky Steel Manufactory. I see. Then I will take my leave for now. There are other matters which require my attention. Who else but Master Garland would be willing to deliver us into the Vanu territory? I say we go and ask him first. Ah, the dastardly duo. What mischief have you two been getting up to lately? You haven't heard, have you? I hardly know where to start. The whole sad tale. He was a good man. Sid, have you ever heard of Az's Law? The Archbishop spoke of it before he fled. No, but it's probably some source of phenomenal cosmic power that's key to his plans. From what he told Arantel, the Ascians tried to tempt him as they tempted Gaius with the ultimate weapon. Even if he spoke true about playing along, I can see him attempting to seize him. As if we needed another reason to pursue him. Well, I'm convinced. The Enterprise is at your disposal. Come to the airship landing when you're ready to depart. It's just as well. After pulling you out of the fire these last few times, I reckon I was due to deliver you into it. Fire it is, and in that case, I should inform Tataru of our plans. Pray go ahead to the airship landing, I shall join you anon. Unfortunately, despite my initial plans, I do think that I'll be calling it a night after I reach Camp Cloud Top. I'm just, I guess I'm feeling a little bit out of it, you know? The boys have been hard at work preparing for our flight. Pleased to say we're ready to depart. That said, I will be live tomorrow. Likely early in the morning, but it really depends what time I get to bed. But I should have the house to myself for a good chunk of time between the early morning and the mid to late afternoon. So, looking forward to that. That is, as soon as a certain... Pray forgive me my lateness. Nataru and I had much to discuss. We still have no news on the missing scions, but she assures me that Orion J and Riol are pursuing promising leads. Come, we can continue this discussion aboard the Enterprise. The others are waiting for you aboard the Enterprise, Arndel. Shall we get going?
To the northern reaches of the Sea of Clouds, where countless isles yet remained uncharted. In search of a mysterious land known as Azizlar, and the unmasked villain who sought to claim its secrets. Oblivious to the new threat which followed in their wake, they came.
We'll keep the Enterprise here for now, but if you need to head back to Ishgard, you can use that standard to signal for an Ironworks airship. Don't worry, we charted a safe route, a route safe enough for others to fly, unless that primal shows up. But what are the odds of that, eh? We'll stay in touch with your Temple Knight friend, don't you worry. The Enterprise is ready to fly at a moment's notice. Just come running if you run afoul of something you can't handle. From here, Camp Cloud Top looks rather far. Be on your guard, Arendelle. The Vanu could be anywhere, even watching us as we speak. Assuming the Ciliel is here, I doubt she will come to us. We should begin searching the Isle in earnest. Of course, we must remain vigilant for Vanu scouts as well. I would rather avoid needless bloodshed. Spoiler. There's about to be needless bloodshed. Gods, look at them. So many isles, so many places to hide. No, we must not lose hope. He's out there, Arendelle, and we will find him. Bam. You search the skies for the Ciliel, but see nothing resembling the missing airship. I wonder if I can see the Void Ark. Doesn't seem like it. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong spot. The Void Ark, or maybe it's just not a thing because I haven't I'm not on that quest line. It's like a world state thing. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't think it's up either. Anyway, things that don't matter because we're not there yet. Oh boy. See, I told you there'd be needless bloodshed. I would never lie to you. Mayhap this effort was doomed to failure. Begs mercy of netherlings, does not fight, does not wish to die. Was that a Vanu being attacked, but by whom? Garleans. Over there. Imperial troops. Ishgardians? Seize them. They'll know where the Archbishop is. The enemy of my enemy. We've no choice. With me, Arentel. Protect the Vanu. That's what I mean when I say this exactly. Job's done. And so we live to fight another day. Netherlings save Lanu Vanu from certain death, showers Netherlings with thanks like summer squall. Lanu Vanu knows not what winds bear Netherlings to Cloudsea, but warmly welcomes them, shows gratitude where gratitude is due. Lanu Vanu owes much and more to Netherlings, as saviors, as heroes, Zondu welcome you. To village we go, to north, come. So the Garleans were searching for the Archbishop, believed that the Vanu knew something of his whereabouts. Methods notwithstanding, they may have the right of it. I conclude that we accept Lanu Vanu's offer of hospitality and visit his village. I want to believe Lanuvani was sincere in his intentions. Nevertheless, keep your eyes open, Arundel. Like breeze guides the leaves to rest, come and lay down your burdens, Netherlings. Lanuvanu throws wide arms in greeting. Behold, Zundu. Or Oak Zundu. A far warmer welcome than the one you received from the Vundu, I think. Ha, Vundu bluster and blow hither and yon, sound and fury like aimless gale. Eh? What unseen lightning begets such thunderous report? There you are, did you see it? It's that damned flying whale again, the Imperials are after it. Where? The White? He's wounded. By the 12, did the beast just eat that island? O insatiable White, O devourer of worlds, why must you torment us? Bah, Lanuvanu wastes no more words on his unfathomable deeds. Come, Netherlings, come and break words with Chief of Zundu. When you described it as a flying feathered whale, I naturally assumed you had taken some liberties. It'll take a lot more than Imperial cannons to bring that beast down. It'll take 8 random dudes with magic, maybe some guns, and a handful of sharp pointy bits. And some cannons, I guess, if you want to count those. With wisdom deep as nethers, and eyes clear as cloudless blue, Sonu Vanu speaks for Zundu. Hearken to his words. Netherlings deliver Lonu Vanu from claws of steel-shod fiends. Improve nobility. He knows not to ignore Zephyr winds and brings before you with all haste. Soft rains to soothe the heart and sunshine to warm. Gratitude of Sanu, chief of Zundu, is boundless. We are honored to meet you, Chief Sonu. I am Alphino Levieur, and these are my companions, Aruntel Malfren and Sid Garland. We are come in search of an airship, a flying vessel of the Nethers, which we believe is somewhere in the Cloud Sea. Ah, like the black steel-shod contraption from which you saved Lanuvanu. Alas, no, that ship belongs to the Garlean Empire, an old enemy of ours, though not the enemy we are looking for at present. The man we seek wears armor of purest white and are led by an older man in white robes. Wait, Lanuvanu hear tell of these Netherlings. You do, are you certain? Or did, maybe? As sun rises and falls and returns, we are. Zundu scouts can testify to words of Lanuvanu. Aye, winds carry purpose of Netherlings to our ears as well. Netherlings seek key to Az's law. Now we're getting somewhere. Tell us, Chief. Chief Sonu, what exactly is this Az's law? Beware, Netherlings, for blackest clouds portend greatest danger. Look not into heart of tempest, there lies ancient birthplace of sin, home of forbidden secrets. To speak more is to call the wind. But the White Devourer's Isle, where key is kept, deep within bowels of mighty Bismarck it lies, beyond reach of the foolhardy, and beyond ours. Rejoice not in his gluttony, Lord Vanu, for as stone gives way to water and wind, all yields to the white. This he knows, chief son. Madness of Vundu bodes ill for all Vanu. And with that, I do believe I'll be calling it here. I'm nice and within a sanctuary, and I am getting a little bit tired, and I may or may not have other stuff I have to do tonight. It's still in the maybe stage, but I will most likely be live tomorrow, continuing where I'm leaving off now. When tomorrow? It depends. Probably before the afternoon, but it could be a bit later than that. We'll just have to see. But until then, have a good one all.